Hi, this is Laura, and I'm going to be doing a little cardinal today. I normally would draw in front of you, but I'm going to do that on the next video. So let's start here. I generally, because I kind of like to do this, I generally start with the eye. This is a little bit of yellow ochre. And there's really not very much yellow ochre in there, but I just kind of like to have something to start with. Now I'm going to add a little burnt sienna. I hope there's not too much of a glare on there. And then I'm going to let that dry while I'm putting a little bit of, this is burnt sienna right here. See how pretty? This is a cute little brush that I got. It's called a Polina Bright Series 1. This is a 0. It's a pretty small brush. So I'm going to use burnt sienna and a little bit of French ultramarine. Now that looks too blue to me, so I'm going to get more burnt sienna. That's pretty good. Okay, and then we're just going to come up here and we're going to put, I'm carrying a lot of water in this, so I don't know that I like that. And that's going to go right into, that's still pretty blue, isn't it? I don't know what's happening here. But I'm going to blot this back just a hair, and you'll see. We'll have a better idea. Okay, this is looking okay. Bring it over here. And then this has kind of just a tiny ridge right there. I'm still not ready to put any black or try to leave the a little let's just do this, and we're going to be using cadmium red light. Actually, we'll probably be using several reds. While we're doing this, I'm going to let this bleed up here just a little bit. This is a nice little brush to get some detail. I'd also like to pull a little bit of permanent rose into this. Oh, now look, I didn't see this. I need to go around this eye. That's what kind of gives him that bandit look. Doing this, I can tell you right now that this beak has to be further back. That's going to be interesting. We'll have to move some stuff out of here. We'll move, right, in fact, I'm going to do a little bit of it right now. I'm just going to put some water in here, and then I'm going to blot it. Okay? Then we'll go back in a little bit. And I'll bring this, I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'll bring this back a little further. Not very much, but right in there, okay? That'll feel better. So I'm going to kind of continue right here, coming down. Okay. Utilize your brush. A lot of times we have a tendency not to use the whole brush. We'll diddle around and see, like I'm squashing it down there. That's kind of nice. Now you see how pretty, this is a warm red and this is a cooler red. So that's kind of fun to do. As I look at this, I wonder, I remember drawing this in a hurry for my class, and now I'm questioning if I drew it as correctly as it needed to be. Down here, I'm going to do something like this so you can see the greenery down here at the bottom. You have to kind of think ahead sometime about what you're doing. Well, he's coming along. Now this has got some more dark over here. Well, actually, what I'm going to do first is put the red in. Because can you see that red in there? We need a little bit of red in here. And here again, I'm carrying more water than I want to carry. So this comes out kind of like this and comes down. Then I keep adding this wonderful permanent rose. And I do that just because I love it. I love that color. So, and you want a variety. You don't want just one color all the time in your bird or animal or whatever it is you're doing. So you have to, I'm going to check again here and redo my black. That looks a little too blue to me. So let's see what we've got here. Seems like it starts up here, doesn't it? And then we're going to come just like this. I hope it looks okay from where you're seeing it. I had a little bleed there, but I'm not too concerned about it. And this mask comes clear around. We moved it out just a little bit. Now burnt sienna, I don't know if you can, now look at my bleed. I'm not real concerned about that right now. Actually, I kind of like a little bit of stuff oozing around anyway. Okay, let's come down here. Now look at this. Here's this nice dark down here. This kind of comes here. I don't want a squared off thing there. What I may do is put the little dark places in now, and then I'll come back and I'll put a wash over it of, okay, now here's the red. Here again, I think that this is longer, and so what I'm going to do is just kind of correct it as I go. All right, I'm going to get my, and here again, I want to pay attention to some of these guys down here. Okay. Well, we haven't done anything too horrible yet. Okay, so there's red coming off of this black here. I normally don't mind too much bumping up against another color and then, you know, taking it on out. So I'm going to do that top of this tail here first. I'm seeing a little dark on the top of it, so I'm just going to put that in there right now while it's wet. Okay. I also see dark underneath it. Can you see that right there? That little dark underneath it? So we need to put that on there too. So let's just come along here. This kind of comes up like this, and here's some dark underneath. Now here again, there's that bush is coming in a little bit. Okay, let's leave that there, and then let's get some light below it. And here again, it's okay. It's okay to, I'm going to try to get some of the bottom leaves here. I'm going to just diddle along there a little bit. Okay. All right, he's coming. once these dry here, and they're not dry yet, so let's just kind of leave them. You'd think that I'd have a Kleenex here, wouldn't you, to do this? Right here, I'm just going to kind of pop that a little bit. Okay, now there's a couple colors in his beak. Okay, there's a little bit. First, we're just going to put a little bit of yellow ochre, just to have that underneath this. And then I'm leaving that white streak in the middle. Okay, so that's going to stay like that. Okay, how are we coming on this? I don't like that that this little part up here, right here, kind of came up into his top of his head. So you see how I'm disturbing it with this brush? This is a clean brush, no water on it. So I'm going to do that. Now it looks like he's got a bullseye on his head, and I'm going to get some more red, and I'm just going to put that in there. Since this is not wet now, on here I'm noticing something else. Why didn't I see all of these things earlier? This cuts in a little bit too. So what I'm doing right now is I'm lifting it, that little area on the top of the beak, I'm lifting it a little bit so I can have that come up a little further. Okay? So now we're going to kind of just leave that for a second. And let's get, this is a beautiful color. This is Antwerp blue. And we're mixing Antwerp blue with burnt sienna. And these are all Winsor Newton colors, except for, I think, the cadmium, and I think that's something else. I think that's a, hold on a minute. I'm kind of concentrating on painting and not on telling you everything in the world. So I'm going to put this in a little bit, and then I'm going to go like this, kind of just to mess it up a little bit. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to go back. This little beak is pretty dry now. I'm going to get a little cadmium orange and put it in here. We can hear that. And I'm trying to leave that light streak in there. And there's another little light streak, honey, down here. And sometimes I like to put just a touch of, see that little dot of orange there? Sometimes I just kind of like to do that. Okay, now this little baby has, I wish that I would have drawn this longer. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, see, I feel like this needs to come down to here, the whole body. What do you think? Well, let's just do it. Let's just do this, and I'll have to find my eraser somewhere here. Okay, so now we're going to go back. This little beak is pretty dry now. I'm going to get a little cadmium orange and put it in here. We can hear that. And I'm trying to leave that light streak in there. And there's another little light streak, honey, down here. And sometimes I like to put just a touch of, see that little dot of orange there? Sometimes I just kind of like to do that. Okay, now this little baby has, I wish that I would have drawn this longer. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, see, I feel like this needs to come down to here, the whole body. What do you think? Well, let's just do it. Let's just do this in that one right there. So what I think we're going to do, I have a saying that in that one right there, that I tell my students, you can generally get a dead body out of a painting. And so I'm going to show you how to fix something right early on here. So let's just erase this, that part of the drawing. And we're going to end up painting over that part. But we're going to kind of redraw down here. He's out. Okay, he comes out here. He comes like this. He comes like this. So I'm going to have to take that out. And I'll also show you a method of getting something out. Where's his foot? It's over here. So it's just kind of like this, and I can hardly see it in amongst the greenery, but I kind of know it sort of goes like that. And this one's over here, and it's kind of up against his belly. Okay, now there's a brush. See this brush right here? This is a bristle brush, hog bristle, and it also acts as an eraser. So let's go in here, and I'm going to disturb. See all of this? I've got clean water in here, and I'm just disturbing all of this. You can only do this like once, and then after that, you're doomed. But at the beginning, you're good. So now you just kind of go back and put more red on it. Okay, now we're not going to have those beautiful little crisp white things here. We could have them, but I don't want to waste your time letting it dry and do all that stuff. So we'll get this somehow. Okay, and I changed brushes on you. I'm using a Charlie Reed brush. I got a number 6. I got it at Art Express. It is a Kolinsky brush, Kolinsky mink brush. That's what you ask for after you've been painting for a while, and you really want to get something fun for Christmas, then you ask your husband for that, or your boyfriend, or your mother, or whoever. Okay, so now we're going to do some more of the Antwerp. Look how pretty that is. Can you see that? I just love that. And here's the, oh, you know what else we should put in here? Even though I don't see any in here, let's pretend that there are some, let's just pretend that they're these little pine cones. And we'll just stick some in. I'm hoping that that sort of looks like a pine cone. Now we can do that with a little bit of burnt sienna. We'll come around here, get a little wetter. And I'm leaving a little space in between. And then I guess I could put a little bit of French ultramarine in some place to make it darker. I can hear that. Okay, so this is coming. Now let's get some more of that Antwerp blue and stick in here. See, this kind of faded back, didn't it? So, and I don't want to go into the bird quite yet. So I'll come down below or go up above. Better I go up above. Let's come up here. And see how I'm sliding my hand? That's an easy way to control it. If you're up here and trying to do this, you don't have nearly as much success. So if you just do this and use the tip of the brush, look at a great tip. And this other little brush, the Polina, this is the one, this came from Australia. If you ever want a nice little set of paints, or of brushes rather, I'd get a little set of these. I think they're around $100 for 4 of them. I believe there's 4 in there. But it's a nice brush, and they hold a nice amount of water. And I don't know, you might want to look into that sometime. So here again, I don't want this to be just all hard things. I'm making up a little bit of this stuff, so bear with me. I know you're looking at that going, well, what on earth is she painting? But I just, since I'm kind of from pine cone country, I look at these trees out in my yard all the time. And so you just kind of want to come up here and kind of cuddle that into the rest of the painting. Get that so it... And a lot of times I'll just spray it with water to everybody's discern. They don't like me to do that too often. I'm going to put some kind of a little branch here. And I better make it look more branch-like. I'm going up over his poor little foot. Okay, just do that. And then if you want to have kind of, let's bring a branch out here on the bottom too. Too dark, I want it lighter. It's really never a good idea. See this corner and this corner? It's never a good idea to have a branch running right off of the corner. And I did good enough to stay above the corner for that tail, because that would have been really something that we don't want to do. Okay? So now I'm going to just do, oops, well that's really dark, isn't it? Okay, let's just take it out here. Let's clean up that bottom edge. Make it down here a little bit more. Well, it's all right. When you check your paper to see if it's wet, you always do it with the back of your fingers, because if you touch like this, you have a lot more oil here in your fingers, and you can make little resist areas here that won't take paint. So try to remember that you always, and if it feels cool to the touch, it's not dry. See, this is dry, this is not dry. So try to keep that in mind when you're painting. I also have a tendency to want to mess things up a little bit and not make them look too proper. You know? So the way I do it is I'll flick some water on it, or paint on it rather. And let's have some coming in here that are out of the painting. Let's just bring some in here. Maybe a long, fat one there. Okay. Now what on earth did I do there? What was my idea there? Something not right. We'll bring some in up from the bottom here. But now you get a little bit of color, and you just go like this. See how we're just flicking it with with a little bit of paint. I don't think that I want to have this really, really dark background here. Oh wait, remember I was going to put some light over those. Okay. Don't you think this tail is longer? I think I want to make it a little bit longer. I'm just trying really hard to get to that corner, aren't I? So I don't really know how much I'd like to do down here. Let's just do, I kind of like forgot his poor little feet. What we're going to do is put a little bit. Here again, this is Antwerp blue with black, or I mean with burnt sienna. It makes a really nice foresty green. And we're doing this because I kind of didn't put that leg in there. We'll put one in there, but we don't want to make a big deal of it because it kind of goes in with all of these things. It's got to be, this is French and burnt. French ultramarine and burnt sienna. And it looks like he's got some orange in his foot of all things. So I'm going to put some orange in. But you just can't see very much of that foot. Let's just stick it on there and pray. Now you can see I went to my other little brush, my little zero brush. Looks like these are just coming right out of the branch. This looks like a little cedar tree. I kind of have it a cross between a cedar and something else, a bigger tree. Okay, I don't want to go black in the background. I think it kind of takes away from everything, but I do want to have something up there. So what I'm going to try something, and it may not work, but we'll try it. So I'm going to wet. I'm wetting this here. Now you can see I've already got a little paint on my brush, so this may not be the worst thing in the world. Okay? I used to call this killing the corners. You also call it knocking them down. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this Antwerp up here. I'm going to put a little down here. And I think I'm going to put, oops, I'd have to wet it here first. See, wetting it, I'm just kind of taking a little bit off of what's already on there. And I think that this could do it. I think that this could just be the rest of the painting. I'm going to put a little bit down there. Don't want light in there. Let's just kind of come over here. See how when I'm dragging this along here, it's just kind of it's a tiny little wash. Okay, I think we're good enough. I think this will work. There's your first cardinal with me. Thank you very much for being here.